Hello, welcome everybody. These webinars are organized every Wednesday by Pune River Revival. This is mainly to reach out to more and more people and let them know what we do and talk about rivers, trees, and environment. We mainly work on the rights of rivers, and so this is another webinar in our series of webinars. Today we are going to talk on freshwater ecosystems, which is very much about rivers. And today we are going to basically Shailaja Tai is going to talk to us and explain to us all the freshwater ecosystems. I doubt if there is anybody in this call who doesn't know her, but still I'm just going to introduce. So you know about Pune River Revival, and most of you also know about Jeevit Nadi. I think more people will know about Jeevit Nadi than maybe about Pune River Revival. So, of course, she is a co-founder and a director of Jeevit Nadi. But more than that, she is the youngest and the most active and the most enthusiastic member of PRR family. And if you talk to anybody in Pune and say that you have anything to do with river, they'll always ask you, "Oh, so do you know Shailaja Deshpande? Do you work with her?" So it has almost become synonymous. No, it is true. I'm not just saying because you're here, but it has almost become synonymous. Anywhere I say like we are doing this, we are talking about rights of rivers, or if I say, "Do you know how polluted it is?" They always ask me, "Do you know Shailaja Tai?" So that is I think the best introduction I can give you. And so over to you, Shailaja Tai. And could you also explain about the mapping exercises we are doing, uh,
Yes,
so that we can let people know that they can join us on Saturday and Sunday?
yes. So
Great.
the details you can convey to the people later,
Sure.
where, what location and all. But basically, this is connected with, let me update and convey to all of you that freshwater ecosystems. So freshwater ecosystems simply means ki from where you get fresh water in very simple sentence. Whether it is from the groundwater, whether it is from the wells or bore wells, or from any pond or lake or any river, stream, or any source which is a natural, or it can be a man-made. But the fresh waters have now started becoming very rare, and the reasons are many. Rather than going into the reason how we can conserve and protect, is the freshwater ecosystem also has a connectivity with its bank. म्हणजे मी आता थोडंसं मराठीत पण बोलते, थोडं इंग्लिशमध्ये पण बोलते, की जमीन आणि पाणी ह्याचं एक खूप जवळचं नातं असतं. सो जमिनीच्या आणि पाण्याच्या ज्या एकमेकाच्या नात्यामध्ये ज्या प्रकारचे झोन्स क्रिएट होतात, तिथे एक स्पेसिफिक व्हेजिटेशन असतं. देर इज अ सर्टन टाइप ऑफ फ्लोरा, अँड बिकॉज दॅट फ्लोरा इज प्रेझेंट, वेदर इट इज इन द लिटरल झोन, म्हणजे त्या पाण्याच्या वॉटर बॉडीच्या अगदी एजवर जे काही उगवतं, मग ते काही ग्रासेस असतील, हेजेस असतील, सेजेस असतील, एनिथिंग वॉट एव्हर इज देअर, इट इज व्हेरी स्पेसिफिक टू द वॉटर, कनेक्टेड टू द वॉटर बॉडी, because it gets adopted with the soil and the water. So this vegetation is very important, and it is largely neglected. And that is why we are doing this exercise. Today we had at one stage where mapping of this riparian zone species, it could be tree, shrub, or anything. So geotag them, try to understand what is the species, what is the significance of it. So this is more or less about the education and awareness, because if we have to have the freshwater ecosystems conserved and protected, we must have the conservation and protection strategy for this vegetation. So it plays a very important role into the total conservation, protection, and revival of these ecosystems. So I'll stop here, and I will start with the same topic with my presentation, where during the journey, uh, we what we learned when we started with Jeevit Nadi and the freshwater flows, how these flows happen, how they have an interface with each other, how they are interdependent with each other. So during this, I am going to show you very simple photographs and, try to explain this journey, how we started connecting these dots with each other, and we started understanding this freshwater ecosystem and the connectivity and the interdependence. So let me start with few photographs of the source regions of any river. So now this is the example of Mutha River source region, where you are seeing is Dev Kondi, and there you also are seeing one garland on a stone and one sari which is draped. So
We
the
cannot see the presentation.
Oh, 1 second. Great. Good you told me. I need to go back and check if I'm not, why I'm not
I think you
able
are
to.
not sharing the screen.
1 second.
Yeah.
Are you able to see?
Now it says start. Yeah, now we can. Can you make it great? Yeah.
Perfect. So
Perfect.
this is the Mutha source region. This is the Dev Kondi. Dev Kondi is nothing but a deep pool where the people who stay in the source region actually make it as a sacred. The way the sacred grows, किंवा आपल्या देवराया जशा लोकल कम्युनिटी कडून प्रोटेक्ट केल्या जातात, तसे हे देव कोंडी, स्मॉल डीप पूल्स विच आर द जीन बँक्स ऑफ द एनी फ्रेश वॉटर इकोसिस्टम्स, ह्या तिथे प्रोटेक्ट केल्या जातात. आणि त्याचं कनेक्शन मी नंतर समजावून सांगणार आहे. पण दिस इज अ पेरेनियल स्ट्रीम इन द सेम सोर्स रिजन, वेअर इफ यू सी both are very much far away, but there is a connectivity, and how they are connecting with each other, I'm going to explain into the couple of slides later. So firstly, I'm going to just show you the photographs, how we should start connecting these indicators. I would say there are biological indicators, there are cultural indicators, there are religious indicators, and there are groundwater indicators, and there are biological indicators. So if you see this, these are the crab holes which you find in many of the source regions of the rivers. Now these crabs actually estivate. You see the second photograph, which is a Kamalzai, which is a goddess of a sacred grove. Then you will see these open shrine. तिथे एक म्हसोबा असतो, खंडोबा असतो, वाघोबा असतो, सती असरा असतात, मावळया असतात. The name may be little, not relevant to you right now, but I'm going to explain. Then I also came across the orchid in the month of May, heat of summer, which this orchid actually is only found in a very heavy rainfall area. And there was this perennial spring. Now, these are all present there in a one region, though they are little distance away from each other, but they tell you a story. And what is that story? So let me connect the dots about the Indrayani River. I showed you about Pavna. Now this is Ananda Doha, which is at Dehu. They call it as Anand culturally and religiously. This Doha or the deep pool is considered as a sacred deep pool, because there is a Deccan Mahasir. You can see the photograph in the center, which I'm showing you, which is a Tor Kudri or Deccan Mahasir, which is endemic to used to be a flagship species of many rivers, including Mula, Mutha, and Mula Mutha. But now they are found only in the river Indrayani, and this deep pool is one of the habitat. Now, if I take the corridor of that Mahasir and try to map it, I started saying couple of, significant structures. Now, this is Kadzai or Kundazai, it is called, as you can see on the escarpment of this stone structure, and you can see the plunge pools here. Then you are able to see some goddess शेंदूर लावलेले असे दगड तुम्हाला दिसतायत. इकडच्या बाजूला पण तुम्हाला आणि कशा उभ्या खडकाला काही पांढरा चुन्यासारखा लावलेला दिसतोय. देन दीज आर द स्मॉल पॉन्ड्स. इथे हा जो फोटो आहे, इथे पक्षी तीर्थ और देर इज अ लँड आयलंड right in the center of Indrayani, which is called as Pakshitirtha by the local people, who actually consider it as a holy place. And these are the Deccan Mahsir, which I came across, where I saw them in one of the deep pools. And these are the type of pools where I saw one crab. Now, rather than identifying, you start connecting these dots. Where these plunge pools are there, I could see the crab. Where this rock, steep rocks, I could see pools everywhere, deep pools, which actually are the gene banks of the any aquatic fauna or flora. Now in Mula, even in the cityscape also, you start observing them. This Sati Asra and Masoba right there in near Rajiv Gandhi on Mula River, you see a rich riparian vegetation along the bank. Then there is a surviving fisherman community. There is a samadhi under which there is a live spring which continuously, trickles down. The water quality of that is really very good. So you have to again connect the dots scientifically, whether what you are seeing or observing is rightly there. So these fishermen actually build this small, bunding sort of a thing within the river. And then I called the Aquadam people, because they know the groundwater. And when they tested the water, they realized that it's a drinking perennial water. So this side, the river is extremely polluted beyond this. And here there is a very clean, clear water which is entering. And if you are able to see this blue bag, which is there, now this is being tied up by the fishermen. Observations of your ecosystem plays very, very important role. And I was wondering why this bag is there. And then I realized the same fishermen actually fill the bag and keep it there, because they don't have refrigerators or deep freezers or freezers into their homes. And the fish market starts in the afternoon at 4 o'clock. So the fish survive here when there is a absolutely dirty or contaminated water beyond a certain point, and still the fishes are surviving. So when today's morning experience, I'm showing you these photographs. So I came across these two beautiful wetlands, one here and one in the center and one on the left hand side. And I saw Crinum viviparum, which is a indicator of very good water quality along these deep pools. And then we realized, when I verified with Aquadam actually was there with me, Dr. Himanshu Kulkarni was there, and they realized that there are two different type of springs which are entering here, which have created these perennial wetlands. And just right next to it, you can see this froth coming on the water because of the upstream pollution which is entering into Mula. Now, let me talk about the Mutha River, since Samir also is there, Dr. Samir Padhe, with whom actually we first we noticed these pools, we noticed the biodiversity, the rich biodiversity. And there used to be म्हणजे असा पक्ष्यांचा मेळा ह्या ponds and pools वर येतो. म्हणजेच त्या पक्ष्यांना किंवा यांना काहीतरी तिथे मिळतंय, आणि ते काय मिळतंय, which is what is it that is supporting this. So we did this research at Vittalwadi as well as the Rammula confluence, and we realized that there are freshwater invertebrates. Invertebrates are nothing but a type of zooplanktons, which Samir probably will be talking next month in detail with you all and giving all the details. So I don't want to get into more details, but broadly telling you how the dots are connected with each other so closely. So there is a गोमुख, जिथे 17-18-19 सालपर्यंत लोक पाणी पित होते विठ्ठलवाडीच्या गोमुखाला. आता तिथे काहीतरी सीपेज येत आहे, but they still have bathing. Later on, Aquadam also found another spring just behind Vitthal Mandir, and this pool or pond, which is a perennial wetland at Vittalwadi. Actually, Biologia did the research about the freshwater invertebrates. You can see the number which is mentioned into the list which I have mentioned. written over there. So the habitat biodiversity, again, I'm not going to go into detail because last week Kedar has already explained to you की हे जे रॉक्स असतात की जे बोल्डर्स असतात along the side of the river bank, or there are rocky outcrops within the river bed, or there is a dense riparian zone which is along the river bank, or shallow areas where the water hen could you know put her feet on, and such type of grasses, cryptocoryne we call it as, which are actually associated with the fauna of that place. कारण काही पक्ष्यांना जसं आपल्याला, मला मराठी माणूस आहे तर मला वरण भात आवडत असेल, पण तेच मारवाडी माणसाला आवडेल असं नाही, किंवा बंगाली माणसाला फिश आवडेल. सो एव्हरी fauna also has a liking of the food and the resting and roosting place. So these various type of habitats are also connected, and they actually create the freshwater ecosystems rich, because they are doing their part in making this revival of the rivers or any freshwater ecosystem possible. Now, when you look at these few structures, एक आहे राम नदीवरचं आपलं वाकेश्वराच्या मंदिराच्या तिथलं, तिथे अजूनही लोक कपडे धुवायला त्या स्प्रिंगच्या तिथे येतात, कारण त्यांना बाकी पाणी पुरवठा व्यवस्थित येत नाही. सो दे कंटिन्युअसली कम देअर. Then there is a Nana Sahib Peshwa Mandir where there is a beautiful spring below this samadhi. This is a Sangmeshwar Mandir. I'm not going to talk to you in detail, but these structure actually have been situated for centuries together. काही 100 वर्ष जुने आहे, काही 200 वर्ष जुने आहे. काहीतरी तो सिग्निफिकन्स ड्युरिंग द टाइम्स वेअर the people paid more importance to the significance to safeguard the water bodies, to safeguard the water systems, creating some sort of a symbolic structure. Now the symbols have become more important than the significance, unfortunately. But I think now about Ram Nadi, when we started actually mapping Ram Nadi, I realized we look at this observation which we did. So Varpewadi, there is a Shambhu Mahadev mountain range from where Ram Nadi originates, about 955 meters above the sea level, and it meets Mula River at the 545 meters. So look at the steps or the staircase which it has created, and they have man-made lakes. Khatpewadi Lake, Manas Lake, Bhugav Lake, Pashan Lake, and then it confluences. So on this map, I have also mentioned the meters. Now, if you try to look at with the groundwaters, this is the map of the aquifers. And then you start connecting the dots, because the aquifers, the discharge and recharge areas of the aquifers also are cascading effect. So one recharge area of any groundwater is actually a discharge area of another place. So खाटपेवाडीला जेव्हा राम नदी रिव्हर रिस्टोरेशन RRM च्या लोकांनी हे एक्सकॅव्हेट करून डिसिल्टिंग केलं, त्याच्या पुढच्या सीझनला ह्या विहिरींना पाणी लागलं. आता भुकुम आणि खाटपेवाडी हॅज couple of kilometers away distance, at least more than 8 to 9 kilometers. So what is the connection ki Khatpewadi? Because the Khatpewadi was working as a recharge to the discharge which was there at Bhukum. Manas Lake च्या बाजूला आणि खाली गेलं तर मानस लेक ज्या डोंगरामध्ये आहे, पिरंगुट आणि त्या एरियामध्ये, चांदणी चौकाच्या तिथे जे आहेत, तर त्याचं कनेक्टिव्हिटी और त्याचं रिचार्ज जे आहे, बावधनला एक स्प्रिंग आहे स्मशानभूमीच्या थोडं आणि खाली गेलं की, जिथे बावधन खुर्द आणि काही लोक तिथे त्याचा वापर करायची. सो दीज आर द थिंग्स which get connected. So there is a definitely a very, very close connection between the groundwater, the rock structures, the strata, and the water which filters through the open areas. प्राजक्ता, मला किती वेळ आहे? अजून 5 ते 7 मिनिटांमध्ये मी कव्हर अप करू शकते.
अजून अजून 10 पण चालतील.
ठीक आहे. Okay. So now when I talk about Ram Nadi, how I started connecting the dots. So I went uphill on the NDA hill, ज्याला जरसेश्वर माउंटेन रेंज म्हणतात. तिथे मला 2 गोष्टी दिसल्या. एक भगीरथ कुंड म्हणून त्या शंकराच्या देवळाच्या मागे होतं. महाशिवरात्रीच्या वेळेस तिथे खूप मोठी जत्रा भरते आणि तिथे एक जिवंत झरा होता. अँड ड्युरिंग old times, I don't know how many centuries ago, this tank is built on that hill, which is a perennial, and it is called as Pandav tank. Now, these are the mountain ranges where I said ki here somewhere this temple was there, and both these things I found on the mountain. And Khatpewadi Lake is here, which is a man-made lake which actually got built up during the drought of 1972 by the local people, the local villager people. But see, the local people have more knowledge of the nature because they observe, they see. You don't build the lake or a pond anywhere just like that. There has to be some sort of a science. Though they didn't have any technology to understand, they probably had some sort of a, ज्याला माहिती ना आपण म्हणतो की आडाखे, निसर्गाला बघून काहीतरी त्यांनी आडाखे बांधून हे खाटपेवाडीचं लेक बांधलं. आणि मग then we saw this Bhukam. Now all these wells are dry again. The Baudhan spring also has become dry because surrounding area now there are high-rise buildings, and you will see the bleeding aquifers when these flyovers in the Chandani चौकातले जे flyovers बघितले, अजूनही तुम्हाला तिथे bleeding aquifers दिसतील. Certain aquifers are still bleeding and oozing out the water. Now they are cut. So तुम्ही ते कनेक्शन तोडलं की त्याचे फ्लोज तुटत जातात, and that is what is gradually happening in Pune because we don't have scientifically done development, sustainable development, which we call it as. So now here at Confluence, we actually proved our observations. So these were the natural drains which were reaching the river. Then there was this perennial wetland. Then we also mapped the life springs with aqua dam, and we of course found lot of biological indicators. There was dug well, and finally it came under a Sumotu NGT case. I am not going to tell the story about that. And when we started removing this red circle, if you see here, whatever was dumping happening through NGT case, this whole dumping has been removed, and now we are able to actually find out the spring line, which is more than 500 to 600 meters till the length, till Confluence. The spring line has been opened up and the water has started reaching the river, and that is one way of the connectivity of the groundwater and surface water. So what is actually happens when you do the land use changes? So this also we realized at the Confluence. We did some GIS data analysis. So you're seeing this table here. Now the red, the green column is showing the green cover. The red is of course the fallow land, and the green, the blue is the dumping, which actually happened, where I'm just calling it as a built-up because they constructed some garages and things like that. So let's call it as a built-up land. So even if the built-up land increased till 2019, the fallow land actually, because it got protected, there were continuous vigilant monitoring by the volunteers, which was happening, the green cover increased. When the green cover increases, you all know the benefits of increasing green cover. It will reduce the temperature, maintain the filtration of the water, evaporational losses will get reduced, and all these things happening. So this is actually getting proven. Now we are also mapping the flora, fauna, biodiversity which is happening there, and look at the list of species or the biodiversity which is there. I don't want to get into the detail, but I just want to put the point across. Now, this spider, which has the recent research paper which came out, and it has been shared on PRR group also. Now, this spider was found on this shrub which is called as Glycosmis pentaphylla. त्याला किरमिरा म्हणतात मराठीमध्ये. आणि त्याच्यावर आम्ही वेगवेगळे बटरफ्लाईज बघितले. Now, this wetland, again, Biologia has done, which earlier my map showed about the invertebrates species which Biologia mapped. आणि आता आम्ही डायटमचं स्टडी पण करतोय, बिकॉज वी मॅप्ड द झूप्लॅन्क्टन्स, नाऊ वी आर मॅपिंग द फायटोप्लॅन्क्टन्स. सो अल्गी हे जे असतात ना, अल्गी ऍक्च्युली आर ऑक्सिजन प्रोड्युसिंग अँड कार्बन सिक्वेस्टिंग. तर वेटलँड्स किंवा फ्रेश वॉटर इकोसिस्टीम मध्ये हा जो पिरामिड असतो ऑफ द झूप्लॅन्क्टन्स अँड फायटोप्लॅन्क्टन्स इज व्हेरी व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट. आणि त्याचं मॉनिटरिंग करणं आणि त्याच्या प्रमाणे आपल्याला इकोसिस्टीम रिवायवल करणं विल बी मोर सायंटिफिक, अँड दॅट्स वाय आय वॉन्टेड टू मेन्शन दिस. सो when you talk about the flows of any freshwater ecosystem, there are linear flows which happen through the rains, which go into the surface of the water body. So these are linear. The lateral flows are when the water body gets a certain level, it starts spreading even on the soil which the water drops. म्हणजे पहिले रेनड्रॉप पडल्यावर ना ते लॅटर सर्फेसेस मध्ये असं ते पाणी पसरायला लागतं. Then there are vertical flows. Vertical flows always will go by the water table. मग ते वरतून खाली येणारे असतील किंवा वॉटर टेबल राईज झाल्यावर खालून वरती येणारे असतील. हे सगळे actually corridors astat of your flora as well as the fauna. So connecting these flows, whether they are linear, they are lateral, they are vertical, आणि ह्या सगळ्याचा जर बॅलन्स झाला तर टेम्पोरल फ्लो, जो आपण म्हणतो की ऍटमॉस्फिअर मध्ये सडनली आता क्लाउड बर्स्ट होत आहेत, और रेन्स हॅव चेंज द पॅटर्न्स बिकॉज वी हॅव डिस्टर्ब द फ्लोज ड्रास्टिकली. त्या फ्लोजला आपण रेग्युलराइज कसं करू, ते परत रिटेन कसं करू, ते परत रिवाइव्ह कसं करू, ह्याच्यावर फ्रेश वॉटर इकोसिस्टीमचं सस्टेनन्स आणि आपलं सर्व्हायवल हे दोन्हीही डिपेंडंट आहे. आणि म्हणून ऍट द एंड ऑफ द स्लाइड आय एम जस्ट मेन्शनिंग की एव्हरी रिव्हर इज ऍब्सोल्युटली डायव्हर्स दॅन द अदर river, but it is also connected at the same time from the origin to delta. And it has a very unique biogeographic as well as the geological history. In addition to the lateral and linear flows, there are the vertical flows which connect this connectivity. कारण ते दिसत नाहीत. Vertical flows are always unseen. थोड्याफार प्रमाणामध्ये तुम्हाला लॅटरल फ्लोज दिसतात, लिनियर फ्लोज तर तुम्हाला दिसतातच दिसतात, पण व्हर्टिकल फ्लोज तुम्हाला दिसत नाहीत. सो द सरफेस सबसर्फेस वॉटर कॅन नॉट बी सीन इन आयसोलेशन. The riparian zones, the sediments contribute to the groundwater and the surface water. Groundwater can influence the river water temperature, आणि river water temperature हे कुठल्याही वॉटर बॉडीच्या सस्टेनन्सला प्रचंड महत्वाचं असतं. The quality also makes a difference. So stopping these base flows, the water temperature will increase. And if the water temperature really plays a very, very important role in the metabolism and the productivity of the aquatic life. And that's why this connectivity, and म्हणून ती कनेक्टिव्हिटी बघताना आपण फक्त ट्रीज आयडेंटिफाय केले किंवा श्रब्स आयडेंटिफाय केले किंवा ग्राउंड वॉटरचं मॅपिंग केलं म्हणजे झालं असं नाही. यू हॅव टू कनेक्ट ऑल द डॉट्स, यु नो, इन अ होलिस्टिक मॅनर, मेड बी the pyramid, ज्याच्यामध्ये मी म्हणलं फ्रॉम द डायटम्स, फ्रॉम द झूप्लॅन्क्टन्स टू द एपेक्स, की जो फिश त्या पाण्यामधला, त्याची सगळ्याची कनेक्टिव्हिटी आपल्याला फ्रेश वॉटर इकोसिस्टीम्स मध्ये करणं हे एनी रिव्हायवलला इम्पॉर्टंट असतं. आय एम गोइंग टू स्टॉप हिअर अँड maybe take question answers विचार.
You can
Okay.
type your questions in the chat box, or you can, Amit, are we allowing to unmute now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so or you can unmute and directly ask, it's up to you. So meanwhile, I have a question before the other questions come in.
Okay.
So what happens when we basically build these river banks and we kind of cut off rivers from the adjacent zone, म्हणजे जे माती आणि पाण्याचं नातं आहे ते आपण जर तोडलं, त्यांचा घटस्फोट केला,
हो,
तर
तर तो
त्याचा परिणाम काय काय होऊ शकतो?
म्हणजे त्याचा आपण आपल्या पायावर धोंडा पाडून घेण्यासारखंच होणार आहे. बिकॉज यू आर कटिंग ऑफ द ऑल इकोसिस्टम. एज आय सेड, यू आर इंटरव्हिनिंग द फ्लोज. यू डोंट नो द व्हर्टिकल फ्लोज. तुम्ही जेव्हा वॉल्स बांधता तेव्हा तुम्ही लॅटरल फ्लोजला पण अडवता. सो जर लॅटरल फ्लोज तुमचे अडले तर तुमचे फ्लड्स वाढणार आहे. बिकॉज युअर वॉटर इज ऑल्सो नॉट गोइंग टू गेट अकोमोडेटेड इन समवेअर. त्याचं फिल्ट्रेशन, पर्कोलेशन हे काही होणार नाहीये. And the river is not a irrigation canal. What we tend to forget that river is the oldest or living ecosystem of this earth. So it goes, म्हणजे हे जे हेरिटेज आहे ना, नॅचरल हेरिटेज, की आपल्यापेक्षा सुद्धा नदी जुनी आहे आणि दॅट इज अ लिव्हिंग एंटिटी. सो इफ इट इज अ लिव्हिंग एंटिटी, यू हॅव टू कन्सिडर अँड ट्रीट हर ॲज अ लिव्हिंग एंटिटी. Otherwise, it's a disaster for all of us.
Right.
May I ask a question?
Sure, please.
Yeah.
Ma'am, खूप छान होता तुमचा presentation and it was
Thank
very lot of an eye opener.
Yeah.
Just one small thing तुम्हाला विचारायचं होतं की जेव्हा एवढं mapping होतं, when we are aware of so many things, do they ever form a layer of the development plan? Because ultimately, you know, the footprint of the city is decided by the development plan.
Yes. So I will tell you, for that, you also have to understand the governance part of it. Now, urban local bodies always get a privilege to monitor and manage their own resources into their and accommodate them into the development plan from the perspective of the revenue. But if you actually create the green jobs here in the river ecosystems, these things can happen. फक्त आता काय होतं माहितीये का, आजपर्यंत डेव्हलपमेंट प्लॅन्स हे 2 टायर सिटीज, 3 टायर सिटीज, अर्बन लोकल बॉडीज आर डिफरंट. म्हणजे त्यांचे अन्सरेबिलिटी जी आहे ना, ती अर्बन डेव्हलपमेंट बरोबर असते, मिनिस्ट्री बरोबर असते. पंचायती किंवा नगरपालिका ज्या असतात त्या answerable are to district collector. Now, district collector and urban development has no connection with each other. So unless and until all these government stakeholders come on board, because the natural ecosystem, whether it is giving water to the urban local bodies or to a village panchayat or to a municipality, is the same. And unless and that's what actually Pune River Revival is currently doing. The efforts are now on with the Principal Secretary, with Climate Change and Environment and Climate Change Minister बरोबर, where we have put in this offer की तुम्ही सगळे stakeholders, NGOs आणि तिथे जे काम लोक करतायत त्या सगळ्यांना बरोबर घेऊन you create a plan for 2 rivers. So the pilot projects now principally have been approved by the state environment and climate change. Are 2 rivers which they have identified is Pavna River and Indrayani. So now with these elections and ह्याच्यामध्ये आता मधल्या मीटिंग्स ना आमचा थोडा डिले झालेला आहे. But once that stops, again the river revival for Pavna and Indrayani may start. मुळा मुठाला आपल्याला आता प्रपोज्ड प्रोजेक्ट जी अप्रूव्ह झालेली आहेत त्याच्यामध्ये कितपत आपल्याला काही करता येईल हे मला पण माहिती नाही. वी रिअली नीड टू डिग डाऊन इन टू द गव्हर्नन्स पार्ट ऑफ इट फ्रॉम दॅट पार्ट. आय एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट द लिगल बिकॉज आय नो नथिंग अबाउट द लिगल इश्यूज.
मॅम, अजून एक गोष्ट होतं की इज दिस अवेलेबल इन द पब्लिक डोमेन? आय मीन व्हॉट एव्हर इन्फॉर्मेशन about the groundwater mapping and stuff like that. So if
Yes,
anybody...
yes.
Any
Aquadam,
development?
yes, Aquadam, if you go on the website of Aquadam, all their researches are there. Then Ecological Society also actually published one scientific paper, which is also in the open domain for the flood fury of Pune. त्याच्यामध्ये पुण्याचं फ्लड मॅनेजमेंट कसं करायचं याचं 4 ऑर्गनायझेशननी मिळून पूर्ण त्याचं डिटेल आउट केलेलं आहे, ज्याच्यामध्ये जिओमॉर्फॉलॉजी, ग्राउंड वॉटर, इकॉलॉजिकल सोसायटीकडून बाकी रिस्टोरेशन पोटेन्शियल आणि जीवित नदीकडून बाकीच्या सगळ्या गोष्टी बघितल्या गेल्या. आणि पुणे हॅज बीन ऍक्च्युली क्रिएटेड, म्हणजे आम्ही डिटेलमध्ये याचा रिसर्च करून केलेला आहे, जो पेपर इज देअर ओपन इन टू द ओपन सोर्स.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
या
निरंजन देशपांडेकडनं प्रश्न आहे.
हा हा
An offshoot of development plan inclusion is encroachment narrative.
येस.
Was there any instance where your initiative had to counter it? It will help a lot for a student like me.
Yes, because as I said that the encroachment which happened into this pristine location of Ram and Mula confluence exactly is a success story of आता असं झालेलं आहे की त्याचं आम्ही इतकं सुंदर डॉक्युमेंटेशन केलं होतं. द स्टोरी ऍक्च्युली म्हणजे प्रत्येक डम्पिंग ट्रक सकट 2017 पासूनच आमच्याकडे तयार होतं, विच वॉज सेंड टू एनजीटी अँड एनजीटी टूक अ सुमोटो ऍक्शन अगेन्स्ट दिस, आणि त्यांनी ते सगळं काढायला सांगितलं. आणि त्याच्यामध्ये एक असं झालं की जे जे डॅमेजेस झालेले आहेत ते सिटीजन्सनी त्यांना सांगितलं की आम्हाला फाईन नकोय, आम्हाला ते पुन्हा रिपेअर आणि रिज्युविनेट आणि रिवाईव्ह करून हवेत. सो PMC has created 800 meters scientific holistic plan, ज्याचं डेव्हलपमेंट प्रोजेक्ट रिपोर्ट इज रेडी कम्प्लिटली नाऊ. They were waiting for the elections आणि त्याचं protocol to get over, where they will start probably in couple of months the tender process for executing that 800 meters of Ram Nadi rejuvenation, जे scientifically होईल. So that is a plus. Yes, it takes a time, पण ते मिळतं. आपण जर आपलं डॉक्युमेंटेशन आणि सगळं व्यवस्थित असेल तर यू कॅन गेट अ सक्सेस इट.
A lot of documentation, but before the documentation, a lot of hard work.
Hard work.
Hard work, and it is all voluntary hard work, I must say.
Yes, yes, yes.
So the next question here is by Aletha. She says, as a learner here, just want to know, although these dots are connecting to give a whole picture, the pools of water, do they have their distinct riverine ecosystems? And
Yes.
how far do the below changes affect the Gomukh part upstream? And how many years does this really take?
See, river is a continuum actually. अपस्ट्रीम और डाउनस्ट्रीम तुम्ही कुठल्याही प्रकारचा इम्पॅक्ट केला त्या ठिकाणी. आता मी म्हटलं तसं की कनेक्टिव्हिटी, लेट्स से की इन द सोर्स रिजन्स, लेट्स से दिस देवराई और द सॅक्रेड ग्रोव च्या इथे आतापर्यंत ती कम्युनिटीनी प्रोटेक्ट झालेली आहे. पण ती जर लॉच्या अंडर प्रोटेक्ट नाही झाली आणि सपोज तिथं कोणीतरी रिसॉर्ट केलं, ज्यांना हा सायन्स किंवा त्याचं रिलेशन ग्राउंड वॉटरचं आणि त्याचं माहिती नाही, तर दॅट इज ऍक्च्युली गोइंग टू इम्पॅक्ट द पवना कॅचमेंट एरिया, विच इज अ वॉटर सिक्युरिटी. आणि म्हणूनच आपण ते 2 पायलट प्रोजेक्ट करतो आहे. कारण असं नसतं की खालच्या बाजूला काहीतरी इम्पॅक्ट केला तर तो वरती होणार नाही. बिकॉज ॲज आय विल keep repeating the same, ki river is a continuum. Whether you do it in the center or at the end or at the source, the impact is going to be a ripple effect somewhere else. And the nature is so complex and the river ecosystem is so complex, probably you may not even know how the impact is going to happen.
The next question is that there are riverfront projects in Sabarmati and in Thames. Are these rivers negatively affected by it?
Yes.
Yes, the one the one word answer is yes. They are
Yes,
negatively
yes,
affected.
yes. And Thames, couple of years ago, because they really tried to work on creating the fish ladders, and they tried to trunk the drainage lines, but uh, again it was end of the pipe solution. So in 2010, Thames was one of the cleanest river of the world. Now it is one of the most polluted rivers. In first 10, it has become one of the most polluted river in the world. For Sabarmati, if you go on the Supreme Court and NGT orders, there has been a huge damage on the groundwater contamination for the villages which are downstream. Also, where the riverfront has happened, even there it has created stagnant pools, and they already have a huge expense which they have to incur for removal and managing of the water hyacinth, which is because the river has lost its own digestive or cleansing capacity, because there is no connection between the soil and the water. It's a total concrete below, and Sabarmati had a sand. So in the sand, they had to again go deep by concretizing it. So it has totally lost its connection, and now it's difficult to revive that.
So actually, Sabarmati is a very good case of marketing. It is very well marketed that we have done something great. But if you go there, it still stinks. And even though what they are doing is they are taking all the sewage water from Ahmedabad, which is of course not treated, just like Pune. But after the riverfront is done, after that they are putting that untreated sewage in the rivers, so that when you go to that riverfront, it doesn't smell, but it still smells.
No, but the villagers are suffering. And that's
Of
why I
course,
said
of course,
because the downstream villages are getting all that polluted water.
polluted water. And also Sabarmati, the water in that Sabarmati is not even Sabarmati's water, right? They are
Yes,
taking
yes, yes.
Narmada water. If you see Sabarmati after the riverfront, because just to market, what they have done is as I said, they have put this sewage after Sabarmati, and we are going to have another session specifically on this.
Correct.
I'm just giving a heads up that it is one of the most polluted rivers in India.
Yes,
Sabarmati.
yes, yes,
So,
correct.
if we think that artificial some fountains and some cafe and some fancy lights, that is the beauty and that is the development, then only we can call it good. But otherwise, it is definitely not a good example.
So all that glitters is not gold.
Totally, totally. And we are planning to have a separate session on that, because this is a very common misunderstanding, and it is not our fault that we have this misunderstanding. That is because it is marketed to us. All this misinformation is effectively with lakhs and lakhs of rupees is marketed to us. So that's why we get these misconceptions. So there is another question here. Are there possible to do OJT with Jeevit Nadi Foundation? What is
OJT?
OJT? What does it mean? I don't know.
Can you just speak, unmute yourself and ask the question?
OJT is on the job training.
Okay.
Oh. You can work as an intern with us, because Jeevit Nadi basically is a voluntary organization, and it's not a sort of a business organization per se, but you can have your projects. There are a lot of college students who connect with Jeevit Nadi to create their projects, or there are many other things which you can do actually. Even implementing or being a part of rejuvenation works also could be possible, but we can take it on one later, maybe.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So there are opportunities you can directly contact. I think that's a good idea. Anybody else has any questions?
I think I would like to talk to ma'am one-on-one, because if there's so much of biodiversity around, why is it not kind of protected under the Biodiversity Act? And there are so many questions that are just like coming
Yes,
up.
yes. The Biodiversity Act, I will briefly, because it is a concern to us also. Now, to update all of you, I just want to mention, rather than going into the detail, uh, biodiversity along the river banks, which is actually part of the riparian zone, which we say, so far is not come into the rules and laws very clearly by the state governments or any other governments. जसं मॅनग्रोव्ह ला प्रोटेक्शन दिलेलं आहे गव्हर्नमेंटनी. You have protection, you also have some conservation strategies, you also have some protection strategies towards mangroves. On similar lines, there is, and that is why the struggle, or you have to fight more to protect these riparian zones, because under law or rule, they go by the tree. Heritage tree, 50-year-old, then you cannot cut it. But you forget the riparian zone doesn't have just the tree. It also has the shrubs, it has the littoral zone, it has grasses, it has sages, which are very, very specific, and it's not covered under the law so far.
Also, there is a comment by Samir Padhe on the same. He said these animals are not scheduled species, most of them. So, do you want
Samir,
to...
maybe he can elaborate on that.
Can you elaborate?
Yeah, sure. Just a quick comment is that government usually focuses on animals, at least animals. I don't know about plants, which are scheduled. So it's called IUCN red listing. So Tai also mentioned some bird species which are vulnerable or threatened. So most of the species that we find on these in these habitats, they are invertebrates and they are not scheduled species. So they are not classified into these categories.
So scheduled म्हणजे threatened का?
वेगळे वेगळे त्याच्यात कॅटेगरीज असतात की एंडेंजर्ड असेल, वल्नरेबल असेल, थ्रेटन्ड असतील. तर ह्या भरपूर मी म्हणेन 90% ऑफ द स्पीशीज आर नॉट रेड लिस्टेड. त्याचं रेड लिस्टिंग करतच नाही. सो ते आपल्याकडे त्या आकड्यांनी जर का गेलं आणि समजा सांगितलं आपण की 4च स्पीशीज रेड लिस्टेड आहेत, तर पीपल हु डोंट नो अबाउट बायोलॉजी जस्ट से की 4च स्पीशीज आहेत तर काय मग कशाला ते प्रोटेक्ट करायचं, rather than looking at a holistic picture as Tai mentioned. It is a overall picture बघितलं पाहिजे.
So that is the reason why the Biodiversity Act was enacted as well.
Absolutely.
And maybe we can look into kind of getting it into the PBRs as well. So if we, kind of have PBRs, maybe it can come into it. So I think we have to really put our minds. There are laws. It's not that there are not laws. It's just that how we kind of tap into these laws to make it more effective is what I think.
Yes, correct. And if you are able to put in some sort of your energy and time, that will be additional hands, because we already have our hands full doing many other things. So, but we are actually looking at the volunteers who can come forward towards, doing these, filling these gaps, which, because it's very difficult that each one person does 10 jobs rather than 10 people doing multiple jobs could be a good way to go forward. We can take it one-on-one, and if you're ready and eager, I think you're most welcome to join.
Sure, ma'am. I'll get in touch with you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. So the Kapil says, since each river is different, won't connecting rivers be a disaster?
Yes, it will be. Absolutely. River linking, and I think we should have a different session by Dr. Paridita Dandekar on this, because the way she has studied about the river linking projects, probably very few people have. So maybe we can have another session to understand how the river linking project is going to be a disaster.
Right. It's a very big topic. So yes, we should have another session on that. Rekha is saying that we should visit Botanical Heritage Garden next to Spicer College. maybe we should, but we first have to do this mapping. So let's first meet for mapping on Saturday and Sunday. Let me just give you the details here that we have this mapping exercise, which is we are mapping trees in the riparian zone. Today we understood how riparian zones are important and how those trees and all that richness, the biodiversity richness there is important. So if we want to conserve and we want to protect, we should first understand what is there. That's why we are doing this mapping exercise. So on Saturday and Sunday morning, 8 to 10, you can come join us. There is going to be a website which you can easily access on your phone and take a picture of the tree and map it. And you don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be able to understand what the tree is. You don't have to understand anything because there will be experts guiding you. Believe me, I do not understand any trees, but I could still do mapping. I only understand these regular, rose and lily and sapha and basic in the garden, but I cannot understand any of the riparian trees. So all these Waluns and Karans and Shindi, today I learned all about all these trees. So if I can learn, everybody can learn. So do join us. You just have to be there and you don't have to know anything. I guess, Amit, are you going to show the location where we are going to meet? And will you also give the WhatsApp link? Hello.
Yes, sorry.
Go ahead.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. So the area that I have highlighted, that's where we are meeting on 30th, which is basically on the PCMC side, and it's called as GK Lane, which is opposite to the Soundtrack Cafe on the New DP Road. So we have access here to the river, and we will be walking along this stretch to map these trees. Today we were on this part, yeah, somewhere here. So that's what we are doing on 30th. And I'm also sharing the link in the chat box just in a moment. Is that sufficient, Prajakta?
Yeah, I think that is good enough. We are sharing the link. You can join the WhatsApp group where we are sharing all the details. And do join us. It's on Saturday as well as on Sunday. This is the location we discussed just now is Saturday's location. Sunday's location you will get in the group. That's about today's webinar. I just want to let you know that we have these webinars every Wednesdays. So if you have missed any of our previous webinars, you go to YouTube and look for Pune River Revival and you can watch. There is a ton of information, all very useful. And do join us next Wednesday and the Wednesdays after that. We are looking forward to it. I'm not going to thank Shailaja Tai because she is our family member. So, but it was as you all know. तुझे email दिसते बंद कर.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So as you all know that this was very enlightening and I'm sure you will get many more sessions from us. Some more will be from Shailaja Tai also. So do come back. I hope to see many of you on Saturday and Sunday. Okay. Good night.
Good night and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.